Right now, somewhere in your basement or garage, your water heater is slowly dying from the inside out. And the thing is, you could stop it for about $15.20 of your time. After over 25 years of fixing and replacing water heaters, I can tell you that most tanks I have pulled out did not need to die when they did. Today, I am walking you through 8 parts and checks inside your water heater that most homeowners completely ignore, and any one of them could be the difference between a simple maintenance job and a $1,200 replacement. Make sure you stick around for number 7, because a lot of people have never even heard of this component. And the bonus tip at the end is one I wish every homeowner knew before their first tank ever failed. The first and most important part on this entire list is the anode rod. And this is the $15 part I am talking about in the title. If you have never heard of an anode rod, you are not alone. Most homeowners have no idea it exists, and that is exactly why so many water heaters fail years before they should. An anode rod is a long metal rod, usually magnesium or aluminum, that threads into the top of your water heater tank. Its entire purpose is to corrode so your tank does not. That is why plumbers call it a sacrificial rod. The rod attracts the corrosive elements in your water and slowly dissolves over time, taking all that damage so the steel lining of your tank stays intact. Here is the problem. Once that rod is completely eaten away, and on most units that happens somewhere between 3 and 5 years, depending on your water quality, the corrosion has nowhere to go except straight into the walls of your tank. Once the tank itself starts corroding, there is no fix. You are buying a new water heater. Checking it is straightforward. You turn off the power or gas, shut off the cold water inlet, and use a 1 1/16" socket to unscrew the rod from the top of the tank. If what you pull out looks like a thin, pitted wire instead of a solid rod, it is spent. A replacement rod from Camco or Rheem runs about $8 to $15 at any hardware store, and swapping it in takes less than 10 minutes. This single check, done every 2 to 3 years, can genuinely add 5 or more years to your water heater's life. There is no other maintenance item in your entire house that gives you that kind of return for that little money. The second item that silently destroys water heaters is sediment buildup, and the fix is simply flushing your tank. Every drop of water that enters your heater carries trace minerals. Over months and years, those minerals settle to the bottom of the tank as a layer of calcium, lime, and jeet. That sediment layer sits right between the burner or lower heating element and the water it is trying to heat. So now your heater is working harder and running longer to push heat through what is essentially a blanket of rock. You will hear it too. If your water heater makes popping, rumbling, or crackling sounds, that is steam bubbles escaping through hardened sediment. That overworking does not just raise your energy bill. It overheats the bottom of the tank, weakens the glass lining, and accelerates corrosion from the inside. Flushing is easy and costs you nothing. Turn off the heater, connect a standard garden hose to the drain valve at the bottom, run the hose to a floor drain or outside, and open the valve. Let it run until the water comes out clear instead of cloudy or brownish. Some plumbers recommend doing this every 6 months. I tell people once a year is fine for most households, but if you have hard water, bump it to every 6 months. It takes about 20 minutes, and it is one of the best things you can do to protect your investment. The third item you need to check is your temperature and pressure relief valve, and most people have never touched theirs. You will find it on the side or top of your tank with a small lever and a discharge pipe running down toward the floor. This valve is a safety device. If pressure or temperature inside the tank gets dangerously high, this valve opens and releases water to prevent a catastrophic failure. And I do mean catastrophic. A water heater without a functioning T and P valve can, in extreme cases, rupture with enough force to launch through a roof. That is not an exaggeration. Testing it takes about 30 seconds. Lift the lever gently and let it snap back. You should hear water rush into the discharge pipe briefly. If nothing happens, or if the valve starts dripping and will not stop after you test it, it needs to be replaced. A new T&P valve from Watts or Rheem costs around $8 to $15, and replacing it is a simple thread in, thread out job once you drain the tank down below the valve level. Here is a detail most people miss. Check that discharge pipe too. It should run downward to within 6 inches of the floor, and it should never be capped, plugged, or reduced in size. I have walked into homes where someone capped that pipe because it dripped once. That completely defeats the purpose of the safety valve. Now, if this kind of practical plumbing knowledge is something you want more of, I have written a guide called 50 Easy Plumbing Fixes that will save you $10,000. It is packed with repairs you can do yourself this weekend without calling a plumber. Scan the QR code right now or check the first link below. All right, let us continue. The fourth part most people have never even thought about is the dip tube, and a failing one is responsible for some of the most common misdiagnoses in water heater repair. The dip tube is a long plastic pipe inside your tank that directs incoming cold water all the way down to the bottom where the burner or lower element heats it. Hot water naturally rises to the top, where the outlet pipe delivers it to your faucets. When the dip tube cracks or deteriorates, cold water dumps in at the top of the tank and mixes directly with your hot water supply. The result is lukewarm water at every tap, and the first thing most homeowners think is that their water heater is dying. I have seen people spend $1,200 on a brand new tank when the actual problem was a broken $8 plastic tube. Dip tubes were especially problematic in heaters manufactured in the late 1990s, but even modern ones can degrade over time, particularly in areas with aggressive water chemistry. To check it, remove the cold water inlet nipple at the top of the tank and pull the tube out. If it is cracked, shortened, or crumbling, replace it. Rheem and A.O. Smith both make universal replacements for under $12. The job takes about 30 minutes with basic tools. The fifth check on this list is your thermostat settings and heating elements, and getting this wrong costs you money in 2 different ways. Most water heaters come from the factory set to 140 degrees Fahrenheit. The Department of Energy recommends 120 degrees for most households. That 20-degree difference does not sound like much, but it increases standby heat loss, accelerates sediment formation, and puts more thermal stress on the tank lining. Adjusting it takes a flathead screwdriver and about 2 minutes. On an electric heater, you will find 2 thermostats behind access panels, one upper and one lower, each controlling its own heating element. While you have those panels off, this is the perfect time to test the elements. A failed lower element is one of the sneakiest problems because your heater will still produce some hot water from the upper element, but you will run out fast. People assume the tank is undersized or aging out when really it is a $15 element that takes 20 minutes to swap. Use a multimeter set to continuity or resistance. A good element on a standard residential unit should read somewhere between 10 and 16 ohms. If you get no reading at all, that element is dead. Camco makes replacement elements for almost every residential tank on the market. The sixth item to inspect is your drain valve, and this is the one that fools homeowners into thinking the tank itself is leaking. The drain valve sits at the very bottom of your water heater. Over years of exposure to hot water and sediment, especially the cheaper plastic valves that come standard on many units, these valves corrode, crack, or develop slow drips. When you see a small puddle under your water heater, the natural reaction is panic. You think the tank is done. But before you call for a replacement, get down there with a flashlight and check exactly where that water is coming from. If it is seeping from the drain valve itself and not from the tank body or fittings above, you are looking at a $5 to $10 fix, not a $1,200 problem. Replacing a drain valve means draining the tank, unscrewing the old valve, wrapping the threads with Teflon tape, and threading in the new one. The whole job takes under an hour. I always recommend upgrading to a brass valve if your heater came with a plastic one. Brass holds up dramatically better over the life of the tank, and the price difference is only a couple of dollars. The seventh item on this list is the expansion tank, and this is the one most homeowners have never heard of, yet it could be quietly killing your water heater right now. If your home has a closed plumbing system, meaning there is a check valve or pressure-reducing valve on your main water line, then when your water heater heats water and that water expands, it has nowhere to go. That pressure pushes back against the tank walls, the T&P valve, the supply lines, and every fitting connected to the system. An expansion tank, usually a small tank about the size of a bowling ball mounted on the cold water line above your heater, absorbs that excess pressure using an internal rubber bladder filled with air. Here is the catch. That bladder fails over time. When it does, the tank fills completely with water, becomes waterlogged, and stops absorbing anything. Your water heater then takes the full force of every thermal expansion cycle, dozens of times a day. To check it, simply tap on the expansion tank. If it sounds completely solid and heavy, like knocking on a full water jug, the bladder has failed and the tank is waterlogged. A healthy expansion tank sounds hollow on the top half where the air cushion is. You can also press the Schrader valve on top, the same type you see on a car tire. If water comes out instead of air, it is done. A replacement runs $30 to $50, and the install is a straightforward threaded connection. Many local codes now require expansion tanks on closed systems, so this is not just a longevity issue, it is a compliance issue too. The eighth and final item on this list is the insulation blanket and heat trap nipples, and together they reduce how hard your water heater has to work every single day. Older water heaters, especially those made before 2004, often have minimal built-in insulation. You can feel it if you put your hand on the outside of the tank, and it is noticeably warm. That warmth is heat escaping, which means the burner or elements have to kick on more frequently to maintain temperature. A fiberglass insulation blanket from Frost King costs about $10 to $15 and wraps around the outside of the tank in minutes. On electric heaters, you can wrap the entire tank. On gas units, keep the blanket away from the top, the burner access at the bottom, and the exhaust flue. Heat trap nipples are another small upgrade. These are special dielectric nipples that install where the hot and cold water lines connect to the top of the tank. They contain a small ball or flapper that prevents convective heat loss, which is hot water slowly creeping up the pipes when nobody is using it. Most new heaters come with these pre-installed, but if your unit is more than 10 years old, it probably does not have them. A pair of brass heat trap nipples runs about $8 to $12. The combined effect of a blanket and heat trap nipples can reduce standby heat loss by 25 to 45% on older units. That means fewer heating cycles, less element wear, less stress on the tank lining, and a lower energy bill every single month. All right, here is the bonus tip that pros actually use and almost nobody talks about. Before you ever check your anode rod or flush your tank for the first time, look at the label on your water heater and find the serial number. On most major brands, the manufacturing date is encoded right there in the first 4 digits. Typically, the first 2 digits represent the year, and the next 2 represent the week it was made. So if your serial number starts with 1508, your tank was built in the 8th week of 2015. Why does this matter so much? Because the average tank water heater lasts 8 to 12 years. And if yours is already past year 8 with zero maintenance history, you want to know exactly how much life you are realistically working with before you invest time and parts. If the tank is only 4 or 5 years old, an Anode rod swap and a flush could easily buy you another 8 to 10 years. If it is already 11 years old and has never been touched, you might still extend its life. But you will also want to start budgeting for a replacement just in case. Knowing the age of your tank turns every maintenance decision from a guess into a strategy. And that is the difference between homeowners who get blindsided by a flooded basement and those who stay ahead of the problem. That wraps it up. If this was useful, you will love the full book. 50 step-by-step plumbing fixes with diagrams, all in one guide. Link is below. Hit subscribe so you do not miss the next video. Thanks for watching.